All right, let's get down to business here, making our bourbon peach ice cream and our blueberry cobbler for a combination of some of everybody's favorite summer fruits, I would say, when they're in season. When they're not in season, and generally are pretty unappealing. And it depends. You never know. I mean, you remember when Kramer tried to return the peach to Joe's fruit stand? You don't know. These people don't make the peaches. God makes the peaches, okay? Would you return the peach to God? I don't think so. I think there's a lot of things that would come before, that I'd like to return to the big man before I return a piece of produce. So cut up some peaches and cut them kind of large because we're going to need to stir them in. We're going to need to put them in some caramel, so we want them to be a little bit bulkier. Weigh out 2 cups of heavy cream and then some plain white sugar and put that in a pot, which you are going to melt down over medium-high heat and just stir continuously until you reach a dark amber color. And once you reach that amber color, you're going to dump those peaches that you cut into, nice hunks. You could do them bigger than that too. And then just stir. You have to stir, or this will burn, like very badly. And when you burn caramel, that's it. I mean, it's a disaster. So just be attentive, and you're going to cook these down for like another 10 minutes till they're absolutely glistening and beautiful, nice and soft. You bring out all the sweetness, and really, if the peach is horrible, this will help rectify that issue. Dump those in a Pyrex or a bowl large enough to stir and combine all your ingredients, and then slowly drizzle in about a half cup of the 2 cups of heavy cream and mix it together. The smell coming off this is already pretty intense. Just going to fill the entire house with beautiful, fruit flavors and the cream with the sugar and the caramel. Oh, yes, you'll have everybody running to the kitchen to, badger you with questions. Throw in some salt, about a teaspoon of vanilla extract, and bourbon. We're going to do about 2 ounces of bourbon. This is Redemption bourbon, and it is inflammable, apparently, but it holds a dear place in my heart because it's one of the first liquors I drank that caused me to get a tattoo. It was the liquor's fault. So now we're going to use some local honey, AU honey, or gold honey, periodic element. Very clever, right? And yes, stuff is pretty good. This is like a spiced honey, but feel free to use whatever honey you have on hand. And then some Noosa yogurt, some Noosa vanilla yogurt from beautiful Bellevue, Colorado, where the Wrist Canyon road climb starts, an hors category climb, which means above categorization in France. It's one of the hardest types of climb you can do. I did an hour and 9 minutes or so, and the guy who was the king of the mountain did it in 27 minutes. So how about that for a distance between a professional and a sub-amateur like myself? You're going to want to blend all this mixture together, whether or not it's going to be in an immersion blender or a regular blender. That is your choice. Feel free to go at it. And then we're going to need to make our cobbler. So we're going to go grab some flour, some good quality all-purpose flour, some whole milk, and typically not in a cobbler is a little bit of egg white by accident, but an egg yolk, because I kind of want this to have egginess. I try to introduce egginess whenever I can, and this is going to turn out almost like a pancake texture once it's cooked in the pan with all the blueberries, like a giant blueberry pancake. Baking powder, white sugar, salt, all that's going in as well, and then you can pop in a little more milk if you want to thin out the batter. So we need our filling for the cobbler, or our filling? I mean, it's kind of laying in there. Whatever it is. Blueberries, a nice big container of blueberries. While those are cooking, take about a half stick of butter and throw that in your pan or baking dish and begin to melt that in the oven. Let these berries simmer down and look at the color just kind of totally change as you stir in the ginger and the sugar and the lemon zest. And it only takes about 10 or 15 minutes so you have a nice syrupy mixture. Pull out your pan from your stove, and the butter should be nice and hot and melted, and then pour the batter directly into the center of the pan so it spreads out, and then do the same thing with your blueberries. Just don't agitate them a lot. Let them just sit and kind of find their own way to the edges of the pan. Pop that in the oven, and while it's in the oven, we're going to macerate some peaches, which we'll stir into our ice cream when we churn it up. And we're just going to put a little bit of sugar on top of these peaches, which are cut not too small, but small enough to put it into the top of the feed tube of the ice cream maker. And then a splash of bourbon just to highlight that element of the dish. Toss them up, cover them, and let them sit at room temperature. There you go. See, it's like a giant blueberry pancake. Very interesting this time. Very interesting. And then what you do with that is you cook a hot dog with it. It's a perfect press, because when you think about what you want to eat before a blueberry cobbler with ice cream on it, hot dog comes to mind. So here we are. We have let our mixture cool for a while in the fridge. We got it down to about 40 degrees, and now we're going to put it into our chilled bowl, our frozen mixing bowl, and begin to churn up the ice cream. And we have a very lovely caramel kind of tinged color, and it's all coming together very nice. Just pop in your peaches, and what do you know, guys? As if it's some sort of shock, I've managed to overload the ice cream maker. But it's okay. So once it's churned and it's pretty smooth, almost like the consistency of soft serve, you're going to want to freeze it. You're going to want to firm it up. You could certainly eat it like this. There's plenty of ways to combine this with a cake or a cobbler or anything, or just eat it, or a shake, or want to make a little tiny interesting shake. That would be good actually. But we're just gonna harden this up a little bit for a couple hours till it's ready to go, because it's gonna take probably a horrible picture if we just put it on like that, like soup. But it has body to it right now. We just need to get it there. We just need to put it over the edge. Here's the result of not waiting. This is what your ice cream might look like, which it doesn't. It's just a little soft. The taste is not going to change, but I'll show you what it looks like when it's set up perfectly. Watch my spoon go right through it. Oh yes, holds its form, and this is delicious. I thought it'd be too much. I thought it'd be too sweet, combining the peaches and the blueberry. But, well, I love sweet things, and if you do, I think you'll really enjoy this. So please do. Let me know how it goes. Be well. Bye-bye.